A huge, unregulated global monopoly, Binance. There are undoubtedly many other reasons why they forced FTX out of business. But it is my personal opinion based on what Sam Bankman-Fried informed me about where the assets went and why we should care. It is the only reason I am a shareholder. If you tell me that the two biggest shareholders are engaging in a related party transaction, I may not think that is acceptable, and may even want a Madoff clawback on the proceeds. Let me ask you, Director. You were an investor in FTX, and I know you had long conversations with Sam Bankman-Fried. Why do you think FTX failed? My accounts were stripped off of all their assets as well as all of the accounting and transaction data, so I have an opinion but no records on hand. I contacted Sam Bankman-Fried and said, "Where is the money, Sam?" because I was unable to receive any response from any of the firm's officials. He claimed he was denied access to the servers for reasons he no longer remembered. I responded, "Okay, let's take a step back. In my opinion, this is a simple issue of where the money went." And I said to Sam, "Show me where the proceeds from the assets of your company were used 24 months ago." The repurchase of his shares from Binance, a rival, over the course of the previous 24 months was the transaction about which he then informed me. I was unaware of this at the time, but CZ, the company that runs Binance, at some point bought a 20% stake in Sambank in exchange for a seed stock. Later, I questioned him why he would spend $2 billion, which was the answer he gave me at the time. A substantial conversation around 24 hours later revealed that he may have spent up to $3 billion to repurchase the shares from CZ. What would drive you to do that? I questioned him. Why would you only provide this to one shareholder, and why wouldn't you retain your assets on your balance sheet? He claimed that no institutions on this I work for, the sovereign wealth and pension plans, don't touch this stuff because it's unregulated. He said that this is because every time we went to get licenses in different jurisdictions, you must understand the price of cryptocurrency is to get regulated for all the talk we say about Bitcoin and everything else. Since these two were plainly the two shelters that may have been the two largest in the firm, let's label them rivals. They clashed, and eventually, they disintegrated. Evidently, according to Sam Bankman, CZ would not accede to the regulators' requests in these various jurisdictions and geographies to supply the information that would qualify them for a license. According to Sam, when he withheld it, the management and Sam Bankman-Fried had no choice but to purchase him at an exceptional price of close to $32 billion. Unless there was allegedly a 15% reduction that cleared the balance sheet of all assets. You questioned me as to why it failed. Look back to the previous week. All of a sudden, CZ is requesting an additional $500 million on social media. Once it has been converted back to fiat, he intends to execute a block trade of FTT for the FTX proprietary token. Why would you publish that? You know it's going to substantially lower the pressure and the value of that coin. And that's exactly what happened. Every trader is aware that in order to complete a huge block trade, you must first go negotiate a clearing price with other purchasers. Do you agree that FTX customers and perhaps your own investments would have been better off if FT had complied with the existing regulation we have that prohibits brokers from trading with customer funds? These two behemoths that jointly control the unregulated market and grow these incredible businesses in terms of growth are at war with each other, in my opinion. Yes, but since they were offshore and unregulated, they were not required to do it. The OSC order in Canada, where BitBuy wallets are controlled by the regulator, is one example of how regulated exchanges tied to broker-dealers have operated, which is why I believe the model will not function. They restrict the number of tokens, the margin, and other things. That's only the regulations they implemented that they just copied from their own exchanges. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about investing. Let's return to the video. the lending, they conduct a thorough test of the proof of reserves we need. The same approach is required here because it has been demonstrated to be effective. We can adopt the same as you stated that the price for cryptocurrency is to get regulated because it gives it credibility. There are millions of Canadians who have accounts that are operating in a very stringent regulatory environment. There is a lot of interest there, especially around Bitcoin and Ethereum and a few other platforms, but they have no infrastructure to apply to their compliance platforms. So it can't exist for the institutional client that the potential of cryptocurrency is for it to be indexed with sovereign wealth and pension, where about 70% of the world's wealth is actually managed. When operating a $900 billion fund on a daily basis, you need a sizable compliant infrastructure that marks all of your positions to market. I just want to point out that there is no infrastructure for cryptocurrencies since this regulatory concern you bring up is a fair one. The only one that is still in business out of the 130 plus firms in the FTX portfolio that went bankrupt and to zero, and this is, maybe the best proof that regulation is necessary, is LedgerX. Because it is fully regulated by the CFTC, it is not bankrupt. Had the other entities been regulated wherever they were, they would not also be bankrupt. Therefore, take a look at this as an example of why regulation is necessary. The absence of regular regulation has resulted in some issues here and will continue to do so. The proof is right here. Without regular regulation, there wouldn't be this tragedy, all of this drama, all of these other things, and the loss of billions of dollars. The only company in the FTX portfolio that didn't go bankrupt was the CFTC, which compelled examination, openness, verification of where the funds were kept, and reserves that prevented commingling with the assets. They compelled it. They did it to demonstrate conclusively that this asset class could be regulated, and they did it to highlight the regulatory changes required in Washington. Therefore, the cash truly floats to US-based firms, empowering them to succeed on a worldwide scale. The top prize on any global platform is to be regulated in the US market, which is the top financial market on earth overall. Now that you mention other money center banks or other financial services industries, they are required to reveal their global operations if they wish to conduct business in the US. Basically, laying out the ground rules for any firm that seeks to do business in the US or any of those jurisdictions, the Canadian regulator, the US regulator, the ADGM in Abu Dhabi, and the regulators in Singapore work together to solve this problem. The reason Sam claimed he spent $3 billion is because he was unable to persuade the regulators to show that Binance on 20 of their platform, CZ was not cooperative with any of those regulators, as you mentioned when you first brought up the subject. He was barred from those markets, and he soon grasped that the prize was to become regulated for institutional capital. He reasoned that if just 4 or 5 markets coordinated like we already do in other securities, this problem would be permanently solved. I've visited Abu Dhabi, spoken with the ADGM, and applied for a license there as well as in Canada. I invested in the license there. They are long-term, very strong structural concepts, but cooperation is needed. With only one phone call, this issue may be resolved. Hope you have learned something from this video. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like button and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for you to be updated on our latest videos. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Want to learn more and be more financially literate? Click on the next videos we have in our channel, showing on the screen right now.